YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and week 1 of the NFL season is in the books. Hopefully you guys came out victorious and you guys are ready for week 2. This is going to be your quarterback start, sits, and sleepers for you this week. We do have a game Thursday on Amazon Prime, and then we do have 2 Monday night games, so make sure you guys are prepared for that. Obviously, a couple injuries have occurred this past week, so hopefully you guys have checked out our waiver wire video. If not, make sure you check it out. We do have it up there for you. Now, first is your obvious. These are your obvious quarterbacks you should be starting this week. I know a couple of these quarterbacks you'll be questioning, like, why is Stafford there? Why is Burrow there? But let's be honest, not everybody has a bad game like they did, unfortunately. They will turn around. These are stud quarterbacks, and they've got some good matchups this week that I still believe they'll perform and put up those numbers that you're looking for. Now, as far as my first quarterback I have as a good start is going to be Derek Carr. It's going against the Arizona Cardinals, who did give up 5 touchdowns to Mahomes. And obviously, there were a lot of people that were unsure how the Kansas City offense was going to perform, but they did a really good job. Cardinals gave up 34 points in fantasy. Again, 5 touchdowns, which is a very, very huge amount. And again, Derek Carr has the potential to do that. Now, he wasn't as successful as he was hoping to be, and obviously a lot of people were expecting to be. He only put up about 10 fantasy points. He did find Adams in that game, but really Renfro and Waller were kind of not there. So I do see that as a change. I don't expect him to have another 10-point performance. I think the Cardinals do give up quite a bit, and this is a good turnaround game for him. Again, this is the offense gelling. This is new for all of them, so I do expect this to change. I do like Derek Carr this week. Another quarterback I do like this week as well is Carson Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz is somebody I mentioned as a good waiver wire pickup. Carson Wentz is going against the Detroit Lions, who did allow 24 points to the quarterback. They didn't allow any passing touchdowns. They did allow a rushing touchdown to Jalen Hurts. But Carson Wentz is coming from a 4-touchdown performance against Jacksonville. He's got great weapons around him in Terry McLaurin. He's got Dotson, the rookie, looks really good. Curtis Samuel. Gibson looks really good. There were a lot of good and positive plays that were coming out of that offense. Carson Wentz looked really, really confident. Now, there were a couple of interceptions that you hope do disappear, but I think this is a really good matchup again against Detroit because, again, yes, Detroit obviously held Jalen Hurts to 0 passing touchdowns, but they didn't need to. They ran the ball really well and successful, and Hurts looked really good in that. And I think Carson Wentz will be another quarterback that does have a successful week. The last quarterback I have as a good start is going to be Tom Brady, and a lot of you guys will be questioning why. Look, the Saints aren't a team that gives up a super large amount of points. They did give up 19 to Mariota. Mariota did not pass a touchdown, but he did have a rushing touchdown. Brady did not look fresh, so there's a lot of negatives in this aspect. The O-line is a little bit of a concern. Dallas was able to get to Tom Brady. And then, of course, Godwin's now out a few more weeks due to his hamstring issue. So there's obviously another weapon that is out, but I do not see Tom Brady flopping again. Now, this may change later on depending on how things might be. We'll see how practice goes for them, but Tom Brady is not going to have another performance like he did against Dallas. He still has Mike Evans, right? Leonard Fournette looked pretty good. Rashad White, we'll see how he gets sprinkled in there. And Julio Jones actually had some really good plays. There were a couple mishaps. There were a couple plays where Tom Brady overthrew him. If those were to connect, this would have been a totally different performance out of him. So again, I think this is going to be a good turnaround for him. Now, as far as the quarterback I'm going to sit this week is going to be Daniel Jones. You probably weren't starting him anyways, but Daniel Jones against the Carolina Panthers is a good sit. Panthers only allowed 10.9 points to the quarterback last week. They also only gave up 147 yards, which is one of the fewer yards given up. Now, this offense is obviously going through Saquon Barkley, and it will continue to go through Saquon Barkley. The receivers have not performed really well. Shepard looked good, and that's it. Wan'Dale Robinson is dealing with a little bit of injury. They did not use Kadarius Toney at all for whatever reason, and then Kenny Golladay I don't even know why he's still on the team. He has not performed at all. So Daniel Jones is not somebody I feel comfortable starting. He can run the ball a little bit, but that's about the only thing you can get out of him. Another quarterback I'm going to sit this week is going to be Trey Lance. He's going against Seattle. Seattle obviously has done a pretty decent job against Russell Wilson. That team at home always does a really good job. They got some turnovers. Obviously, Russell was still able to score some points, but Trey Lance struggled. He was inaccurate. He didn't look very comfortable. And then, of course, you didn't have George Kittle, which we're hoping he is back this week. We'll keep you up to date on that. But Trey Lance just did not look like the quarterback they were hoping he would be. Now, there was obviously a lot of weather factors into that game that might have played some of that, but you still have really good receivers in Ayuk. You got Deebo Samuel. Maybe Kittle's back. You did lose Elijah Mitchell, so you're going to have Jeff Wilson back there. But I don't feel really comfortable against them this week. Another quarterback I'm going to sit this week is going to be Justin Fields. Now, it obviously came out of the same game against the 49ers, but Justin Fields is going against the Green Bay Packers. They did give up a lot of points to Kirk, and that obviously was a concern. But Kirk Cousins' offense, for example, is totally different than Justin Fields' offense. The rain did affect Justin Fields, so obviously that was a concern and why his performance didn't obviously come out as well as you would hope. But against the Packers, he's actually done a horrible job, unfortunately. He's thrown 30 interceptions in the 2 performances last year. He's 0-2 against them. He did score 3 touchdowns, so obviously there's that as well. That kind of helps him. But realistically, this offense is just not a very strong performing offense. Jair Alexander's back. The Green Bay Packers are going to be stronger than they were last year, even against, obviously, Justin Fields. And I do expect this to be a shootout. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to struggle like he did the first week. There's a lot of ups and downs with this receiving core, but they will get better with time. So Justin Fields won't be able to just run. They won't be able to run just with David Montgomery to keep this close. It's going to rely a lot on his arm, and I think that's where you're going to see some of those issues. Now, as far as some good sleepers for you guys this week, the first guy I have is going to be Matt Ryan. He's going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who gave up 29 points to Carson Wentz last week. Matt was able to throw the ball. He was a little careless. He did obviously fumble quite a bit in that game, and so it wasn't as beautiful as you would hope for Matt Ryan, but it was the first game coming back. Now, Jaguars obviously have struggled quite a bit, and that was with Carson Wentz. I like the offense that Matt Ryan has. They obviously ran the ball really, really well with Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman looked really good. Alec Pierce, the rookie, kind of struggled, so that made me nervous a little bit. Paris Campbell didn't really show up so much. So we'll see how things gel for them, but I think this is a good turnaround week for Matt Ryan and a good sleeper week. Another good sleeper I'm going to have is Tua. Now, Tua's not going to be a sleeper every single week. I think eventually he's going to be someone I'm going to start pretty confidently. But I just absolutely love the weapons that Tua has. He heavily targeted, obviously, Tyreek Hill. Waddle looked really good. And I like Chase Edmonds in the backfield. They're not really utilizing Gesicki, but I don't think they necessarily have to in this offense. Ravens only gave up 15 points, but they did allow 300 passing yards to Joe Flacco, who obviously is no one's starting lineup at all. No one thought Joe Flacco was going to perform the way he did. So again, with a better offense, better weapons, and things like that, they're going to have a more of an opportunity to score and allow more than 15 points for Tua to actually be there. He has the running capability that Joe Flacco cannot do, unfortunately. He has greater weapons than what Joe Flacco had. So I do expect him to have more than 15 points for fantasy for you guys. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for the quarterback week 2 position for you guys. Again, make sure you guys check out our waiver wire video. And of course, check out our other start and sit videos that we'll be dropping this week as well. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell is on. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. And of course, if you enjoyed the content, hit the like button. If you guys do have questions of who you should start, hit us up on our Twitter or Instagram. You can always ask us there. And of course, ask us in the comments down below. We'll be able to help you guys out there as well. Again, check out our waivers, check out our start and sits, and we'll check you guys out next time.